Hello again, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the +6 equipment that just released in War of the Visions, because there's a lot of decisions to be made if you want to use your heart quartz on different items. You have to pick carefully because there's not just MR stuff this week, there's also UR stuff this week, so it costs a lot. By the time you start +6ing things, you might run out of heart quartz, and then you have to wait until you can farm it from the arena. By the way, you should be doing your arena every single day, and if you do really well at it, then you can get even more rewards, and it really is the best incentive to do arena that we've ever had. So there's lots of really cool looking +6 stuff. It always looks cool. So I'm going to give you my opinion on which ones are actually worth doing, or at least which ones I'm kind of looking at. And then if you have, your own opinions, then you can share that in the comments, and people can kind of get a sense of what they should be +6ing, especially people that have +6'd a lot of stuff already and are really limited on that heart quartz. Okay, let's start with the MR equipment. We're starting with the Elemental Spear, which is the spear that Oberon users use, or the sad people that didn't play during Final Fantasy IV collaboration and they didn't get the Wind Spear, which is a spear. It's a UR spear that has agility on it, so that's obviously a big deal. So if you want to raise this to +6, then there are some pretty good options for you, because the Assault version gets some extra attack, but even more relevant for some people might be that 20 accuracy boost here, that it goes up from, it's actually only up 2 from 18 from before, but still, like, that's a nice thing to stack if you already have a very accurate Oberon. However, you might just be building that with trust stones anyway. So I think the real reason we might go for this is when we scroll down, the fact that we can see kind of what our extra passive effect is. And what it is increase reaction block rate 20%. This is a really good effect, right? Like, this is a huge effect. We love to see this because the people reflexing things is total BS, and it sucks, and it always happens to me specifically more than it happens to other people, right? And I think we can all agree the exact same thing, that it happens to you more than anybody else. So if you can block that from happening, then you're a happy little War of the Visions player, aren't you? Right? Now, we can also get this effect from trust stones. I think that for that reason, this doesn't really jump out to me. We also have way more spear variety now. The one thing that I do like about Oberon is that he just got a bunch of defense penetration on his whatever his like purple dragon providence skill is. So now he actually has so much defense penetration that equipping the defense penetration spear is not nearly as important for him, and this spear suddenly becomes very viable as well, just because it has that 30 earth attack, it has the pierce attack, and then you do get some counter chance reduction. So this is a good spear for people that use Oberon, and if you don't use Oberon, or I guess Lorenzo, then you could probably just skip it. Just for your knowledge, this is the Assault version of the Wind Spear, or we can look at the Assault version. So it has more attack anyway, and it gives you more pierce attack. It also gives you some agility, 5 agility. That's really nice. It kind of helps you out if you don't want to equip a agility TMR, then this is a really good option for pretty much every spear user, unless you really want the defense penetration that we got recently. Okay, next up is the Quasar, which is a magic based gun, and it's for Jayden, and Jayden just got his master ability too, and it's a pretty good one. I do like it. The way that you can roll with this gun is you can either do a magic build and get a lot more magic, or you can go the crit build, and gunner units have really high dexterity, so they are easy to build crit on, but then you also want to build crit damage, and I don't know that's something that you're going to commit to in a light build or not, so that's something you have to really think about. I think most players will just comfortably go for the magic version, but the cool thing here is that you just get a huge modifier. So you go from the 15 missile attack up into the 25 attack up. So the only reason that you're not going to use this Quasar on Jayden is if you're actually building the Peacemaker just to have some spirit penetration. But I honestly don't know that you would do that when you can get spirit penetration on your trust stones, and the Peacemaker has a much lower magic stat. So I think if you're someone that's seriously trying to use Jayden, you take every little min-max you can get, then you do build a +6 magic version or a +6 critical version if you're willing to figure out how critical is going to work for you. Otherwise, just safely build the magic version and you're going to be just fine. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about the UR equipment. And now this doesn't have a +6 version. It's the brand new raid item. The reason that we're bringing this up right now is because this competes with what you're going to be doing, because it takes up now books aren't so important anymore now that we can get them from the from the trust stone farming, but we do have to consider the mats that you need for this. So if we look at this, if you're low on these types of mats, and if you built this, it would stop you from +6ing something else. It's something to consider. Now this is a very specific piece of equipment because it's only for these strike attackers, but when you look at how specific it is, it's pretty cool what the payoff is, because you get defense penetration 20 and you also get 25% HP up at the start of the turn. Now it's kind of not as cool as it could have been, because we got a very similar effect from the claws that Hope had a farming event for, and like that's a thing that's going to come back to the Farplane archives or whatever. But what is cool about this is that they also just have, like, it has a huge HP stat, it has a huge defense stat, and it has a lot of crit evade as well. So it is a solid piece of gear. I would definitely build the shield version if I were you. What's important here is that you get two things for one, and the fact that they're both like really big effects is just the consolidation of that is really nice. Even if you can get some defense penetration less than this, though, on your on your trust stones, this is better because you can get 20 instead of 10. So that's good, right? And then if you have claws, you can go for some aim claws. You could go for some more or fists. You can go for some more power build fists, or whatever it is you want to do. And then this is going to take care of your defense penetration. This is going to take care of your HP up. This is a really solid gear that I will build for Raldor 100%. And I guess Snow could use it maybe, but you might not even want that, because while he is a tank that would want the 25% up, you might be building putting other pieces on him that are more important, or other accessories and stuff. So it's not necessarily a given, but I think the people that are really into those strike units will probably want to build this. Other people, however, are going to be safe to +6 some stuff. So let's take a look at the diamond coat. This is one of my favorite pieces of gear in the game, even if it didn't become quite as important with the trust stone system. So with this, you can build a little bit better shield version, get some more defense, and that's just fine. That's still the version that you want to build. The only thing that we really get here is some dexterity. Now, dexterity is important. It's going to increase the damage, the accuracy, and the crit chance of your gunner units. So this is still a really nice boost. And dexterity is also something that I don't see everybody taking on their trust stones, so you're less likely to have a clash there. So I do actually really like this upgrade. It's not the highest priority for me, but it is something that I would like to build eventually for my gunner. Now, the Alexandrite Ring, which is our OG raid item, I love it so much. It's already so good because the old version, 20 accuracy, and then you get 20 more accuracy at +5 is really strong. Now we're going to get up to 28% accuracy added on. That is really high. So I think that this is the +6 to do. I think people have the most trouble, with evade and really want a solution to it. And I'm talking about people that don't have a solution to it, then this is the chance to do it, right? When you put this onto units, it really helps them hit. It really, really does. And the best part is they gave it a killer extra passive. They made it so that you get 15% critical rate. So this thing is really solid, not just for the accuracy, but now you get 15 critical rate as well. And of course it has this elemental resistance thing, which is really solid. If you put it on a tank, your tank is more accurate and more tanky. So I do really like this ring. I will definitely build a +6 of this, no doubt. I'm going to do at least one, and I'm very happy to recommend that. All right, so that's it for all the gear. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'm actually really curious to see if people agreed with what I'm +6ing and what I'm not. so worried about. I do actually have Oberon, and I do think that he's somebody I want to use in the future. So at some point I might work on an elemental spear, but I don't think it's an absolute deal breaker to do that for him. I think you can still get a lot of use out of him because his master ability too is so good. So otherwise, I'm just going to be farming this raid, and I'm going to build my power sash as soon as I can, and then I'll also do an Alexandrite ring, and then I'll kind of see where I am. I haven't +6'd very many things at all, so I do have a lot of heart quartz to spend. So maybe I'll end up doing a bunch of things, and I can share that later in like an account review or something like that. Otherwise, I'm going to take off. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon in another War of the Visions video.